Welcome to Slapshot Podcast, episode number 104. I'm your host, Christopher Morais. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Why don't you trickle on in here? Grab yourself a chair, grab yourself your favorite snack. We got some Olympic hockey to talk about today, man. No shortage of things have happened in the Olympics. If you are like me, you've been glued to the screen mostly all morning into the afternoon. It's been fantastic to watch. I love the Olympics. I've been watching literally everything that exists. It doesn't matter what it is. I've been watching it. Do I know what a short program is? Absolutely not. But yes, I'm watching figure skating, right? Watch the moguls. What was it? Speed skating. Love watching speed skating. It's been fun. Been enjoyable. Obviously, I've been getting the maximum amount of hockey in as possible. I get 6 o'clock in the morning is early for hockey, but listen, it's all day. I wake up at 6. Last game usually finishes around 5:30, 5:45. You got a whole day of hockey, and you got your evenings free. To me, that's a W in my book. That's a W. So I've been having a blast. We got a ton of Olympic hockey to talk about here. We're going to get some quick news as well from the Olympics. If you you found yourself in here by accident, I appreciate that. Maybe the algo pulled you in. I appreciate it. Go ahead, hit the sub button, ring the bell. Okay, if you're watching this over on YouTube, youtube.com/@slapshotpod. Maybe you enjoy only listening to me. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. You can get the podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can get it on Spotify. You head over to Slapshot Podcast on X. Hit the link tree in the description. Go ahead and follow the podcast wherever you enjoy it. You can follow me on X as well, at FuzzyChris91. Make sure you go ahead and do so. Like I said, we're just going to get to some basic news, okay? We're not going to go deep into all kinds of things that are happening. Listen, Brandon Bussey signed a 3-year extension with the Carolina Hurricanes. Congratulations. But we just don't have the time talk about all that greatness, okay? I will say this. We will get off to a couple of things here. One, the Kevin Fiala injury. Listen, I know that it's been weird cheering for Tom Wilson. Listen, the Olympics that's what it's like when you're playing any type of fantasy in general, or if you're betting on sports. That's what I feel like it is. I don't like Tom Wilson, but I enjoy that he's on my team. At the Four Nations, it was different cheering for Brad Marchand. It's definitely another vibe for Tom Wilson. Now, having said that, the injury to Fiala is unfortunate. He had surgery, apparently has multiple fractures towards the bottom of his leg. We don't know exactly. We do know that his tournament is over. His NHL season is over. This is the risk that you have to take when NHL players go to the Olympics. They risk getting hurt. This isn't the first time it's happened. It probably won't be the last. If you're an LA Kings fan, it's not good. I get it. You traded for Panarin just before the Olympic break. Fiala gets hurt. It's unfortunate. No part of what Tom Wilson did was dirty. And trust me, if anybody's thinking Tom Wilson is going to do something dirty, it's me. Okay? I was trying to find any type of prop that I could bet on for Tom Wilson, right, getting suspended or, ejected from a hockey game. We got one of them, not the suspended part, right? He did get ejected for fighting, which we'll get to a little bit later. But listen, it's unfortunate. I don't think Kevin Fiala would have traded the opportunity to go to the Olympics. It's an unfortunate injury, and sometimes you just gotta, it can happen to anybody. We saw it happen the last time the NHL players were there with John Tavares. It sucks. There's no two ways around it. It sucks. I get it. Josh Morrissey is hurt as well. He hasn't played. I'm sure the Winnipeg Jets aren't thrilled about it, but players representing their country, especially for the Olympics, considering how long it's been since players were last here. I don't want to see an Olympics without NHL participation again. Sometimes you got to live with both sides of the coin. So I hope Kevin Fiala makes a full recovery, returns to the LA Kings, is ready to go in training camp next year. Tough loss for the Swiss, too. Tough loss. Speaking of not tough losses here, Uri Slafkovsky's coming out party is here. If some of you have forgotten, but the Slovak team, they are the defending gold medal champions at the Olympics. Now, I know NHL players weren't there, but Uri Slafkovsky already has a gold medal around his neck. He has now played in 10 Olympic games. He has 10 goals. He's a goal per game at the Olympics, which is wild. Slovakia is a very small-ish country, okay? They don't produce a lot of NHL talent, I would say. Now, if you are like me, you did not have Slovakia winning their group, which I did not have Slovakia coming out of the same group with Finland and Sweden. But listen, here we are, led by Uri Slafkovsky, right? The man he's here. And some people are surprised. They're like, oh, why can't he do this in the NHL? Listen to me, okay? That's how I know you don't watch the Montreal Canadiens enough. Uri Slafkovsky has been very, very good this year. There's literally a podcast about him. If you go back a little bit, I did a podcast as to why the numbers were there and the breakout is coming. And every time he jumps on the international stage, he seems to take over. He is the best player on that team. He's going to play a ton of minutes. He's a shooter. He's counted on, okay? In the NHL, it's a little bit different for him, and I think that comes with some maturity. He's 21 years old, by the way, okay? 21, he's turning 22 this year. Second, in the NHL, he, for the better part of the majority of like a year and a half now, he's been playing with Suzuki and Caulfield. He's been the net front presence, I would say. He's the guy going to the corner, getting out the puck. He's not carrying it out of the zone a lot. We've seen Slafkovsky be the guy with the puck on his stick and maneuvering, which is what we saw a little bit more since he's moved to that second line with Oliver Kapanen and Ivan Demidov. He is showing the abilities that we all knew he had, okay? It took a minute to get here, but he is demonstrating that he can be this power forward, okay? That he could be a future 40-40 guy, 40 goals, 40 assists, and just dominate physically as well. He is here. To me, this is his coming out party. The best players in the world are here, okay? Very tough matchups against Sweden and Finland. My apologies to the Italians. You guys weren't. But they came out, and Uri has carried this team. And again, if you don't watch enough Montreal Canadiens hockey, you don't know that. You don't know that. But he's coming. He is here. And once he understands at the NHL level that he can be a little bit selfish with the puck a little, and shoot it more, you're going to see similar results. You will. But this has been an excellent showing. Every line he plays on gets significantly better. We heard that when they were discussing him at the draft, how he kept moving up. Everywhere he goes, the guys around him get better. That's a testament to him. That is a quality that not a lot of players have. Elite players have it, okay? This is Uri Slafkovsky's coming out party. I'm glad the rest of the world is taking notice because in Montreal, we saw it this year. We saw the progression. We saw what he's capable of doing. The man is here, okay? Speaking of progression, there was, I don't know how you want to call this, but the French national team has suspended, I don't even know what that guy's name is, but the one who got into a fight with Tom Wilson. Now, he wasn't suspended by the IIHF or the IOC. The French team was like, hey, man, pack your bags and go home. They suspended him from the team. Now, it wasn't for the fight. It was for apparently taunting fans as he was leaving. Now, he was giving them the old ear right? I can't hear you as he's coming out. Listen, it's not much. I get it. But the French have clearly made it a point to say we're not going to mess around with this kind of stuff. Their statement was it was contrary to the spirit of the Olympics. And listen, this guy he's racked up a bunch of penalty minutes playing wherever he does in Europe, okay? The French don't necessarily have a ton of elite players to choose from. So if you have a French passport, there's a good chance you could make the team. And that's what happened. He clearly decided he was willing to fight Tom Wilson, which I learned as well is not an immediate suspension. It is up to the IIHF and the IOC to decide. So Tom Wilson will continue on his path. He will be in the lineup for the quarterfinals. We did, again, first player to get ejected from a game was Tom Wilson. Welcome to the fun. He's second in penalty minutes, obviously behind the French player, whatever his name is. But leads Canada in penalty minutes. It is an automatic ejection. When I saw him fighting, I was like, bro, there's no way, right? Like, we're not getting tossed. And listen, it's late at the game. In those blowout games, you're going to have players start to take liberties. And, the hit on McKinnon was a little bit of a liberty. And then you saw Nate kind of say, hey, I'm just going to throw my weight around and remind you that you can't be doing that, right? You don't want to make Nate Dogg mad, because when he's mad, he might kill you. He might. But Tom Wilson decided to remind people to say, hey, you're not going to do that. You can say he lost the fight if you want. Guy pulled him downwards. It is what it is. I enjoy that Tom Wilson, even at the Olympics, saying, hey, you're not taking liberties against my guys. If I have to fight you, I will. Canada's been very physical in this tournament. Very physical. I mean, I'm watching Connor McDavid throw some cheap. Which game was it against? Was it against the Swiss? I don't remember which game. He throws, Connor McDavid throws a hit, and it's late. A little late. And player didn't really see him. I think it's against the Swiss. And I'm like, that's a Tom Wilson hit right there. It's a little bit late. It's a little bit blindside. I'm like, my man's learning something from Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson also, hey, Gordie Howe hat trick at the Olympics. A goal, assist, and a fight. Again, I don't know how I feel about Tom Wilson, but right now, listen, big fans. Big fans. Where's the clapping noise here? Give me a second. Listen, big fans of Tom Wilson. Big fans. Okay? We are big fans of Tom Wilson for now. So good for him. Again, listen, the French team putting their foot down. Do it. Lastly, and certainly not least, okay? There has been a lot of hate on Twitter/X about Nick Suzuki. There's even ramblings that maybe he's the guy sitting out to start the quarterfinals. Now, most of this chatter comes from the Ottawa Senators /Toronto Maple Leaf fan base, which I understand in terms of the intelligence, right? If you had an intelligence chart, those fan bases are down here, okay? If you're watching Nick Suzuki and you're like, hey, he doesn't deserve to have a permanent spot in that lineup, you're delusional. You should probably get that checked out. Go see a doctor. Tell him you have permanent concussion syndrome. I don't think that exists, but it would be newly discovered because of you. Nick is playing the wing, okay, with Brandon Hagel and Nate McKinnon. Now, has that line done a ton? No, okay? Nick Suzuki is not necessarily the fastest player on the earth, okay? I don't think I'm surprising anybody with that. Now, what he lacks in speed, he makes up in intelligence and ability to play 200 feet, okay? He's probably better suited off as a centerman. I'm going to be honest, okay? Nathan McKinnon has a ton of speed. He should be playing the middle or the wing on the top line with Celebrini and McDavid, who, we'll talk about Celebrini a little bit. Homie is on a level right now, okay? But I don't think Nick Suzuki and Nate McKinnon kind of mesh because they're both players that like to carry the puck into the zone. And you can only have one player do that. But Nick Suzuki's line they've created chances. And if anything, they're defensively responsible, right? We talk about how Team Canada built this team and how it's about, hey, we got to have guys here ready to play roles. If you think Nick Suzuki is coming to the Olympics to produce on a Connor McDavid level, do I have a beachfront property for you in northern Saskatchewan with your name on it? Okay? That's delusion. That's not Nick Suzuki's role. I haven't seen much of Sam Reinhart either. And I'm not saying he shouldn't be on the team. Okay? Simmer it down. I do believe that Nick Suzuki is probably better suited to play center. We've seen it at times where Tom Wilson came down in the lineup. And you can have one of those checking lines. Tom Wilson goes out there, throws his weight, gets the puck out of it. I would even be okay with having maybe Mark Stone come down. Nick Suzuki and Mark Stone, two very intelligent players. Mark Stone has no speed. Like, Nick Suzuki's not a speedster. Mark Stone is slow. And yet here he is, scoring goals, shorthanded, on a breakaway. So I do believe John Cooper will probably try to find some balance here. But if you think Nick Suzuki is a problem and that he should be a healthy scratch, you're telling me he's not one of the best 13 forwards right now? Give your head a shake, all right? And take off the bias glasses, okay? He has earned his right on this team. He is playing the role that has been asked of him, okay? Don't get it twisted. And in big moments, we know players like to step up. I have full faith in Nick Suzuki. So just stop, okay? Stop with all that garbage. All right, I know that took forever, but listen, we had to get to the news about stuff that is happening. Now, let's move on to the most important part of this. All right? So now that the round robin is over, now in the in this Olympic tournament, everybody makes it to the qualification, if you want to call it. It's kind of like the round of 16 before the quarterfinals, okay? Everybody makes it. I learned this as well. I was like, does anybody get eliminated? No. Everybody makes it to the qualification round. The top 4 teams get a bye. Okay? So those 4 teams are Canada, USA, Slovakia, and Finland. Did I get it right? Now, Slovakia, the top winner of each group, so Canada, USA, Slovakia, and then the best of the rest, which was Finland. I had said this on Total Hockey Now. I did believe that there was a possibility that Germany could have been the next best. So they could have been, I'll call them Q4, right? The 4th best team. They decided to lose to Latvia. I just didn't think 2 teams would come out of the B group just because it was so stacked and you were going to suffer a loss. But listen, what do I know? The Finns, tough showing against the Slovaks in their first game, but they rebounded, did what they needed to do. They found a way to get a bye straight into the quarterfinals. So we're going to go through the bracket. It's courtesy of Cap Wagers. Thank you to the good folks over there for helping break this down because there is some reseeding as we head to the semifinals. Okay? There is some reseeding. So this is what we got. Now, I want you to focus on the top. If you're listening to this, I'll describe it for you. So there's 4 qualification playoffs. Like I said, everybody makes it. So it's going to be 5, 12, 6, and 11, 7, 10, 8, 9. Okay? So the Swiss were the 5th best team. They will take on Italy. Okay? Germany, France, Sweden, Latvia, the Czechia versus Denmark. All right? I'm going to keep this section short here. I'm not expecting a ton of surprises. Okay? The Swiss are going to beat the Italians. That's fair. Germany should be able to get past the French. Right? The Germans have a good team. I thought maybe they didn't have as great of a round robin as they should have had. Sweden should get past Latvia. Sweden, listen, they had a very disappointing round robin. They didn't look good. Didn't look good. They finished 3rd. So now they got to play a qualification. Their path to gold is certainly difficult. But maybe the extra game will help them. A game against Latvia. Latvia is not necessarily a powerhouse team. Offensively, they don't have anything. The goaltending, we know they can stand on their head. But this is a spot for Sweden to kind of work on their game, get things going, try to build some of that momentum, okay? Because if all this goes as planned, Sweden has to take on the United States. So they have to figure it out right off the rip. And if that happens, let's say they beat the United States, then they got to face Canada. So their path to gold is very, very tough. But listen, this is where we're at. So Czechia will play Denmark. The Czechs also didn't have like a fantastic performance. I was expecting a little bit more. Their game against Canada was tough. They kind of hung around here. They didn't I thought they should have been better than the Swiss. I know that was a toss-up. They should have been better than Germany. And they just didn't get there. So I think they got a good matchup against Denmark. Again, no surprises here for me in this round. I expect the Swiss, the German, the Swedes, and Czechia to advance. So the Olympics for Italy, France, Latvia, and Denmark. Thanks for coming, man. It's been fun having you. We'll see you back at home. That leads into the quarterfinals. All right. So Finland would take on Switzerland. Again, I think this is a good get-right spot for the Finns. The Swiss having to play an extra game probably doesn't help. The loss of Fiala is not great. Finland is a good team. I just don't think they played to the level that they could have. Right? Mikko Rantanen in some games, not enough ice time. Not enough ice time. I expect that to be corrected. Like if they're losing, he's going to be out there a lot. I also think the Finns have the advantage in goal, right? Like UC Saros can tip this one way or another. So I do think the Finns advance on that side. Slovakia versus Germany. I'm going to give it to the Slovaks. Okay. I'm going to give it to them. I wouldn't be surprised if Germany advances though. Okay. But I'm going to give it to the Slovaks here. Because nobody thought they could do what they did. And here they are, right? They're going to run out of gas at some point. But I think the momentum is there. They've proven that they can beat some of the best countries in the world. They took advantage in game one against, Finland? They took advantage of their opportunities, right? Like brutal mistakes. They go out. They capitalize, which is what good teams do. I would have gone with the Germans if I had seen a little bit more consistency out of them, right? It's Leon Draisaitl. It's Timmy Stützle. They have good defense. Moritz Seider, right? Grubauer's in goal. Like there's pieces. It's just not enough. I'm going to give the edge to the Slovaks here. But it wouldn't shock me if Germany upsets them. I just want that to be on the record. I think that's going to be a very good game. I will be watching it. I'm watching all of it, but I'll be paying extra attention to that one because I want to know how it goes. Now, Canada's going to play the Czechs. This is a rematch of what we saw in the round robin. I don't expect the Czechs to figure it out all of a sudden, right? Canada came out. They executed. Jordan Binnington was very good. He is going to be the starter. Okay? I know that he gave up 2 goals against the French. I didn't think Canada played very well against the French. I thought there were times where it didn't look great, but sometimes it's gonna happen when your opponent is that inferior. It just things don't kind of connect. It just feels like the game is you expect to win, so sometimes you get a little bit sloppy. I don't think that's going to be the case here against the Czechs. I think we see a typical Team Canada coached by John Cooper. The execution is going to be at the highest level. Jordan Binnington was very good in that start. Nothing wrong if they decide to go with Logan Thompson. I don't think he did anything to not earn it. I just think John Cooper has his mind set on this being for Binnington, the tournament. So at this point. Let them run, right? Give them the keys and let them run. All right. This next matchup is one that I also want to watch. USA and Sweden. It's mind-boggling to me that the USA finishes second overall, right? So they are Q2, basically. They get a bye, and their reward for being the second best team in the tournament is the Swedes. regardless of how the Swedes play or how they have gotten here, this is a tough matchup for USA. The Americans have been good. They have been good. We've seen, good goal scoring. I was very happy to see Clayton Keller in the lineup. There are still some things that are not 100% perfect, right? It is what it is. Connor Hellebuck's going to get every start from now until forever, right? Jeremy Swayman had taken his spot. Not when you're giving up goals from center ice, but I don't think we saw the absolute best version of the United States just yet. It would not shock me if Sweden wins this game, by the way. The Swedes have a ton of good offense, okay? They have guys who can bury the puck. They're good on the back end as well, right? Like, I know Erik Karlsson's getting older, okay? But Victor Hedman, Rasmus Dahlin, this team is built from the back end out. They need some goaltending. I don't know who's starting for them. It can't be Philip Gustafsson. Can't be. He was, and I say this lovingly, trash. He was so bad. And then there was Jacob Markstrom, and he's not better. I don't know if the Swedes are going to turn to Jesper Wallstedt. I've been trying to say their names correctly. I've been watching a lot of the pronunciations. I know we're good. I thought Wallstedt should have played over Markstrom. I am not head coach of Team Sweden. That coach had different ideas. It is what it is. Sweden needs the goaltending to be better. If it's better, they have a shot here. It wouldn't surprise me if they beat the United States, but I want the United States to win, okay? I don't want any excuses, right? I want a rematch of the four nations. So if you could please get to the next round, USA, that'd be great, okay? Their path to get there for the United States, I feel, might be easier after that, okay? So Canada, United States, Slovakia, and Finland from the quarterfinals advance. This is where reseeding happens. So Canada would face Finland. USA would face Slovakia, okay? USA against Slovakia, to me, it's simple. The winner of USA-Sweden is heading to the gold medal game. Because even if the Swedes advance, Sweden can beat Slovakia. Again, nothing against the Slovaks. The fact that they've made it here is fantastic. I think they exceeded the expectation. But this is where the tournament starts to change. This is where the depth is going to be challenged. The Slovaks don't have it. Right? Even if USA or Sweden face Germany, the Germans don't have any depth. So it's a blessing, right? You just got to get out of that quarterfinal match. So I want the United States to get there, which means the United States beats Slovakia. The United States punches its ticket to the final. Canada should beat Finland. Okay? The Finns have a good team. I don't like how they've been deployed up to this point. Okay? They were the fourth best team in the tournament. So it is what it is, right? But I think Canada can figure it out at that point and say, hey, we can suffocate them, right? Go out there, throw your weight, move the puck around, get pucks on goal, be disciplined, because the Finns will grind you out for it. They are one of the better defensive teams overall. So do not give them opportunities. Do not fall behind, because it's going to be a impossible task at that point. But I still have Canada advancing because I'm a good Canadian and because it's factual. The bronze medal game will be Slovakia and Finland. I'm going to give Finland the edge there again, just because I just don't see I just don't see Slovakia getting past the Finns. I don't. I think these teams met, I know, at the beginning. I just don't have it pulled up here. Anyways, I don't remember who beat who in that match. I want to know. That Group B was so much fun to watch, by the way. Like it's been great. I'm trying to hold on. Let me see here. Right. So Finland got there because they beat Italy by a bunch, right? They scored 11. But where is that? Yeah, sorry. The Slovaks. Yeah, Slovakia beat Finland. So I don't know if they do it twice. That was the opening game of the tournament. I think the Finns settled in after that. They got better as the tournament went on. Still not their best, but I think they beat the Slovaks. Now we have Canada and the United States. Welcome back for round 2. Now, this is a different tournament. Remember I said you can't fight. So we're not going to see opening fights off the face-off. We're not going to see other fights as the game goes on. It's going to be physical, right? But we've seen that Canada is willing to throw their weight around. They're going to be there. And listen, Tom Wilson is around. This is why you brought Tom Wilson, right? Tom, this is for you. Now, do not cross the line, okay? But this is why you brought Tom Wilson, for the physicality. Sam Bennett is here. We know exactly what he can do. Brad Marchand should be healthy enough to play. There's enough guys who can keep up with the physicality, okay? You're not catching Celebrini. You're not catching McDavid. You're not catching McKinnon. You're not catching those guys. You can't out-hit those guys. You can try to make life difficult against them. And I think Matthew Tkachuk knows that best because he's beaten McDavid at that game twice now, right? He's got 2 Stanley Cup rings, which, by the way, just a quick segue here. That chirp from Matthew Tkachuk on Leon Draisaitl is top tier, by the way. Calling him a bridesmaid, right? Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. That is Olympic gold medal chirp right there. Gold medal. I don't care what your feelings are. I get Leon Draisaitl is probably like top 4 best player in the world right now. And I get it's the Germans. They don't have the same depth. And Matthew Tkachuk is part of a bigger team. But listen, winners win, right? Winners win. Draisaitl's got a lot of individual accomplishments. I bet you he'd trade them all for 2 Stanley Cups, though. Right? He would. He would. And listen, if Germany advances, let's say they beat they upset the Slovaks, they would play would they play USA? Hold on. I don't know. They would not play USA because they would reseed. So Canada would play Germany. And then USA would play Finland. Damn. They could only be in the finals, and the Germans are not beating Canada. So swing and a miss right there. Swing and a miss. I thought maybe USA would play Germany. I was like, got a second try here, maybe, for Leon to prove. But anyways, top tier chirp. I love it. Listen, Canada's winning the gold medal. There's no question about it in my mind. There's no question. You want to slow down Macklin, Celebrini, McDavid, McKinnon? Sidney Crosby's been very good. Very, very good. It's been a little bit quieter in the tournament. A little bit quieter, right? A little bit quieter. Look at this, okay? I just want to show you. This is the scoring chart, by the way, okay? After 3 games. McDavid is on top. Celebrini is second. Connor McDavid is having one of those moments. When it comes time to be the best player in the world, Connor McDavid just wakes up and says, that's me, by the way. He has 9 points in 3 games. Our boy, Juraj Slafkovsky, is third, by the way. He's third in scoring at the Olympics. He's got the same number of points as Celebrini and Crosby. Okay? Crosby's fourth, by the way. It doesn't feel like he's had this breakout impact, but Sidney Crosby's doing exactly what leaders do. Quietly doing his job, going out there, being one of the best players. Austin Matthews is there. I know he's been taking a little bit of heat. So far, he's there. And then, listen, Nathan McKinnon is right there as well. Okay? And again, McKinnon doesn't get to play with Celebrini, right? He doesn't get the same players. I'm not throwing Brandon Hagel under the bus, or I'm not throwing Nick Suzuki because I love him, but it's not the same thing. Okay. At some point, I want to see John Cooper put McDavid, Celebrini, and McKinnon back together. They played some shifts together, and I think it was against the Swiss. Can't stop them. You can't stop that amount of speed. You can't do it. It's an impossible task, I promise you. Celebrini plays on the second unit, so it's not even like they'll get together on the power play. There's too much speed 5-on-5. There is no amount of U.S. players that could slow that down. Okay? You could tell me there is, but then you'd be those delusional fans that think Nick Suzuki shouldn't be on this team, right? And we already established that needs to be checked out. So I think it's going to be a good game. That game, gold medal game, I think goes at 8 a.m. Sunday, which, by the way, my next show, so Slapshot Podcast, next episode will be on the Monday following that, okay? If you want to see what state I'm in, okay, live post-game show after the gold medal game with the boys over at Total Hockey Now, okay, youtube.com/Total Hockey Now. You can catch me and Adam Bernard. We'll be live right after, okay? So make sure you go ahead if you want to see my reaction. If Canada loses, I might be in shambles. I might need you to call somebody. If Canada wins, I'm going to be so unbearable, okay? But you've been warned, okay? And then Slapshot Podcast comes to you Monday. We'll recap the entire tournament, okay? I'm going to be unbearable if Canada wins. Well, I'm going to be unbearable no matter what. I just want you to understand that, okay? Like, strap in. Don't say you weren't warned. This is your warning. I will be unbearable. But this is how I have my bracket playing out. Again, this is 100. I don't have any. I have no upsets. But that doesn't mean I don't think there are some that can happen. Remember, the Germans can upset the Slovaks. The Swedes can upset the Americans. Right? I do think those things could happen, which would change. But I want to see. This is how I want it to go. For a couple of reasons. One, because I want Canada to play the United States. Right? All those other reasons. Yada, yada. But again, listen, Finland wins bronze. The United States gets another silver medal. They get to be the bridesmaid once again on the international stage. Canada, where they should be, at the top of the hockey universe. Okay? I know the women's game will be played earlier. The American team has put on a clinic. Okay? The American women's team has, but now Marie-Philippe Poulin is back. She's hobbled, but she's back. She scored 2 goals today against the Swiss, by the way. She has one leg and she still can do damage. So we'll see how that game goes. I think that one's going, I don't know if it's Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know. I don't know what day it is. I'll check. But this is how I see this entire tournament going. And that, ladies and gentlemen, listen, it's been a blast. But that is the end of the podcast. As always, listen, if you found yourself in here by accident, I appreciate you being in here. Go ahead, hit the sub button, ring the bell if you're watching this over on YouTube, okay? So that way you can get notified when the next episode goes live. Follow me on X at FuzzyChris91. Follow the podcast on X as well at Slapshot Podcast. If you hit the link tree, you can get this podcast in an audio form if you enjoy that even more, all right? Like I said, I appreciate all of you hanging out with me. I love talking hockey with all of you. It's been a blast. The Olympics is one of my favorite times of the year. Go out, watch a bunch of the Olympics, watch other sports, enjoy the hockey. You and I will have a date next Monday, all right? Be safe.